In our last episode, we said goodbye to some of our good friends who are making their way across the Pacific. This time around, we start heading north for Mexico's hurricane season. With a series of hops, we cover about 650 miles and end up in La Paz. But first, we've got to spend some time with our good friends who are heading south. This is my good friend Jason. Jason and Jen on SV Danica, well, they're heading south for hurricane season. So, we made a short hop to Bahia Tenacatita for some fun in the sun and some surf before we parted ways. Got back from surfing with my good friend Jason. Got good news and bad news. Good news, it was really fun. Got to hang out with my good friend for a bit. Bad news, I think I broke some toes. There was a wave that sent me one way and the board the other. My leash got wrapped around my toes, and when I came up out of the water, my toes were like that. I'm not going to show you my toes because they're pretty gross. Brenda's outside with the dry heaves, she can't look at it. So, I'm going to have to straighten them out. I'm not going to show you that either because it's going to be kind of gross. And don't worry, I'm a trained professional. I've done this before. Looks better. That didn't feel very good. That's the end of fun for a little while. Out of here with the sun. Good morning, Brenda. It's too early. There's Danica, good friends. They're going south, we're going north. Kind of a bummer. You have anything you want to say to them?
Goodbye, guys. I think you should come north.
Yep. We tried talking them into it. They wouldn't budge. But they're definitely going the wrong way. The cool kids are going north. With our farewells said, and a short break in the weather, we motored our way north to Chimela to wait out a pretty strong northerly. Got my broken toesies.
What do you think, guy?
Yeah.
It's pretty fancy. It's all shiny. Somebody's gonna eat them. If we don't catch a fish, we're gonna eat that. So you better hope we catch a fish today. That's gonna be chewy.
But sadly, even with about 8 hours of motoring north, we still didn't catch any fish. If there's one thing I can say about Brenda, it's that she doesn't give up very easy. We had a couple of days sitting in Chimela, waiting out some weather, and while we were there, she was still trying to catch some fish.
Trying to catch us some lunch. Oh, she's successful at the moment.
After a couple of days sitting in Chimela, our weather window opened up. Now today we're heading north. We just left Chimela about an hour ago, and this is actually the first upwind sail we've had in, I don't know, thousands of miles it seems like. Don't remember how it goes, but it's kind of fun. We've got about 120 miles or so to cover. It'll take us about 24 hours before we get to Puerto Vallarta, and Brenda is so happy about it.
I'm ready to get moving. I was getting kind of bored in Chimela.
Yep. And with that, we tacked our way about 10 miles offshore for a more consistent breeze and made our way north. There's our new friends on Ripple. We just met them about 2 weeks ago. Trying to keep up, but they don't have a racing stripe like us. See ya, suckers. Well, sailed for most of the day, but the wind just died. So now we're motoring. We got about 12 hours to go to get to Puerto Vallarta, which will put us there right about daybreak.
We motored through the night, where we landed in Puerto Vallarta the following morning, and strangely enough, they put us next to the super yachts.
Hello.
So we just pulled into Puerto Vallarta for a doctor to check out my feet, and got some broken toesies. So we're gonna hang out here for a handful of days before we make the crossing to La Paz. Since they got a pool, we're gonna go swimming.
Go check in with the port captain first.
Yep. Since I'm not supposed to walk around, Brenda's doing the business. Checking in with the port captain. And she's back. How's the port captain?
It was great. It was fast.
Rapido?
Rapido. Let's go to the pool.
Okay. Well, we've been in Puerto Vallarta for a few days now, and as much as we like hanging out by a swimming pool, we're sort of getting antsy to move. The long-range forecast shows a tropical storm forming in southern Mexico, and the even longer range forecast shows that tropical storm turning into a hurricane, and we'd like to be up north past La Paz before that actually forms. So the best forecast we see for crossing the sea actually is tomorrow morning. It'll take us about 3 days to get across, but it's going to be an upwind passage the whole way, which we're not exactly looking forward to. There's a reason everybody goes downwind. It's comfortable. Upwind, not so much. So, with this tropical depression forming and possibly a hurricane, we're going to get moving. I figure I can sit on my butt and let my toes heal on the boat just as well as I can next to a pool. So, tomorrow, we're going to head out.
After a few days in Puerto Vallarta, we were off just in time to watch this feeding frenzy as we left the bay.
There are whales out there. Pretty exciting. We're just excited to leave Puerto Vallarta. It's been there a while. It's nice to be on the move again. Heading up to Baja.
Are you excited for 3 days at sea?
Absolutely not. But you gotta do it if you want to get to the other side. Can't complain. It's gonna be a long 3 days.
Yep, you can actually complain, but nobody's going to listen.
No, no one's gonna really care. Actually, it's not a rough life, so no one's really gonna care.
Once we rounded the whales, the sails were up, and we were off.
Well, we just left Puerto Vallarta, and we're heading across the sea to the Baja Peninsula. Got about a 3-day passage to get there, and it's going to be upwind pretty much the whole way, so we'll see how it goes. Right now, we're off. Left a few hours ago, sailing right along. It's pretty nice out, hot, just like Mexico always is. And now I'm just rambling, blah, 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 blah. Going crazy already. It's got scurvy.
For the next 12 hours, the forecast was right on the money, which meant we had to do our best to beat the Mexican heat. But sadly, shortly after midnight, all of our wind just went away, and in its place, we were left with a pretty steep and uncomfortable swell that stuck around all night and into the morning.
That's the start of day 2. Kind of a rough night. The swell never let up even though the wind died, so we've been motoring into a pretty steep 6 to 8 foot swell that's coming from 2 different directions. So it's hard to sleep when you're floating above your bunk. But Brenda's down there trying now. I just took over from her watch, so Hopefully this the sea state kind of calms down, which it's supposed to be a little calmer, but hasn't happened yet. And at this point there's no wind, so we're motoring, but the wind's supposed to kick up hopefully this afternoon. So we won't have to listen to the motor anymore, which would be nice. Generally smooths out the ride too once we're sailing.
Shortly after noon, the sun came out and the wind picked up, which was a pretty welcome change. And not too long after the wind picked up, this happened.
What's going on, Brenda?
I caught a tuna. It's our very first tuna.
Oh man, look at that thing. Oh, okay, hold on, let me get the gaff.
But unfortunately for Brenda, the excitement of catching a tuna was short-lived. She was pretty seasick. A freshly caught tuna? Well, there's almost nothing better. And I surely wasn't gonna let it go to waste. With a soy sauce, sesame oil, and just a touch of honey glaze, a light coating of sesame seeds, and a quick sear in a hot skillet, well, there's nothing better. For the next 12 hours, we had what I'd like to call spirited sailing conditions. But shortly after the sun went down, things got downright nasty. The wind speed doubled, and the seas, well, they tossed us around like an old rag doll. So, for the last 24 hours of this passage, we didn't eat, we didn't sleep, and we didn't touch a video camera. We just tended to the boat and held on for the ride. But luckily, misery at sea is generally pretty short-lived. After a 3-day passage, we anchored at Bahia de los Muertos on the Baja Peninsula. We spent a couple of days just recuperating from the passage, and then made one final push to La Paz.
Well, just made it to La Paz. We haven't touched land in about a week, and we're hungry. Going for some food. Home sweet home for a little bit. Going for lunch. Who's excited?
I'm excited. I'm excited to get off the boat. I've been on the boat too many days now. I'm ready for land.
Yep, someone's going crazy. And it's not me, it's Brenda. She's gone crazy.
I'll accept that.
This is Cameron a la Diabla. And they're delicious.
And that's about it for this episode. We'll see you next time.